Good morning, welcome to Breakfast with Chris Mason and Nina Warhurst.
Our headlines today. Good morning, I hope you're well. Just gone 6 o'clock. It is Sunday the 19th of July. Our top story, Boris Johnson has said he doesn't believe another nationwide lockdown will be needed if there's a second spike of coronavirus cases this winter.
Yeah, the Prime Minister told the Sunday Telegraph he believes any future outbreak can be dealt with at a local or regional level. Our political correspondent Nick Eardley reports.
Buckingham Palace has released the first official photographs of the wedding of Princess Beatrice and the property developer Edoardo Mapelli-Mozzi.
The private ceremony, attended by the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh, took place in secret at Windsor's Royal Chapel on Friday. Keith Doyle has more. Up to 3,000 new school places are being created for children in England who have special educational needs and disabilities. The
places will be in so-called free schools, which are funded directly by the government as opposed to being run by local authorities. John Donnison reports. I'm going to continue my 2020 theme of becoming obsessed by haircuts and point out the Johnsonian flourish of
you can't miss it, can you?
It's really quite striking, isn't it?
I wonder if he arrived with that.
Just from the back of the head.
Yeah.
It's all definitely there. Absolutely.
You are watching BBC Breakfast at 8 minutes past 6. Time for a look now at the news virus.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, we will get the latest sport from Holly shortly and hear how the professionals are getting on. But now, let's see how the world of amateur sport is looking as the lockdown restrictions continue to ease.
From COVID-secure football and netball to the tricky question of how you do a socially distanced rugby scrum. Mike Bushell has been to visit some grassroots teams to see how they're preparing. Mike's not quite got his eye back in, has he?
Slightly out of practice.
He is.
But I tell you what, it's impressive. Where there's a will, there's a way. People finding a way to continue with the sport, but as the social distancing.
We were reflecting watching that there's that sense that we're heading back to normality when Mike is out and about doing his sporting pieces like that. But until he's wearing his Speedos on the back of a Shetland pony.
This is it. We're not really back. That is normal to us, isn't it?
That's proper normal, isn't it?
That is breakfast weekend normal.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at what the weather's got in store now. Now, time for some movie recommendations. Let's take a look at the film review with Mark Commode. Hello, this is Breakfast with Chris Mason and Nina Warhurst.
Good morning. Here is a summary of today's main stories from BBC News. Boris Johnson has said he doesn't believe another nationwide lockdown will be needed if there's a second spike of coronavirus this winter.
Check in with Holly now with all the latest on FA Cup news. A very good morning to you, Holly.
Good morning.
Later on. It is 22:07 now. We've been hearing this morning, haven't we, about how the Prime Minister is vowing to get the country back to some kind of normality after the lockdown. But what does that actually mean in practice for our high streets?
The retail and hospitality sectors have been among the worst affected by the pandemic. Breakfast's Tim Moffat has been finding out how some shops and pubs are trying to stay afloat. And there's a story on the front page of the Times this morning. A pub in Wimbledon, southwest London, posted an advert for a £9 an hour job and got, guess how many applicants?
Hundreds?
484. Which shows, doesn't it, just how many people are out there looking for work at the moment.
And it's those kinds of stories, aren't they, that really ram home statistics that are meaningless when you hear them in the big picture. So we've heard, haven't we, from the Office for National Statistics and others about vacancies being at a record low and obviously lots of people looking for work. But when you hear the kind of reality of people looking for work like that and how many, I wonder how many applications they normally get, half a dozen or something? I don't know.
That's what he said, usually about 20, but it's gone up to... And the job vacancies website says there's been a 589% increase in the number of searches for supermarket roles compared to this time last year.
It's 6:45. Morning to you. Let's check in with Ben. Do you fancy a quick cherry briefing? Just spotted something in the Mail on Sunday. Cherry news for cherry lovers. Just show you that. Anyway, here is your cherry briefing. All the things you never needed to know about cherries.
Fruit news.
Basically, there's lots of them this year.
Right.
Cold winter lockdown is good for juicy, flavoursome cherries. So there's a bumper crop of British cherries.
Because I always think of them as being imported.
Well, they normally are from South Africa, but this year we are managing to export them. Hong Kong apparently is a big export market. Cherries are unlike the vast majority of fruits in that they contain melatonin, a hormone that helps control your sleep-wake cycle. There are more than 1,000 varieties of cherry. Merchant Sunburst, Stella, Regina, Sweetheart and Penny.
Well, I never.
Amongst those found.
And we used to have cherry trees up and down the country until the Second World War, I was reading about. Anyway, we'll have more fascinating fruit news a bit later on.
It's great, this.
Mangoes, pineapples. Let's take a look at Click.
Yeah.
Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast with Chris Mason and Nina Warhurst.
Our headlines today.
It's Sunday, the 19th of July. Good morning. Our top story. Boris Johnson says he doesn't believe another nationwide lockdown will be needed if there's a second spike of coronavirus this winter.
The Prime Minister has given an interview to the Sunday Telegraph, and he says he believes that any future outbreaks can be dealt with at a local or regional level. Our political correspondent Jessica Parker.
Cherries, babies' haircuts, you've got it all this morning, Chris.
All the
Real
heavy stuff.
insight, yeah. Now, Buckingham Palace have released the first official photographs of the wedding of Princess Beatrice and the Italian Count Edoardo Mapelli-Mozzi.
The private ceremony, attended by the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh, took place in secret at Windsor's Royal Chapel on Friday. Keith Doyle has more.
Up to 3,000 new school places are being created for children in England who have special educational needs and disabilities.
The places will be in so-called free schools, which are funded directly by the government as opposed to being run by local authorities. John Donison reports. Spain's Catalonia region has again recorded more than 1,000 COVID infections in a single day.
The surge has led to tough new measures being announced on Friday for an initial period of 15 days. Well, our correspondent Gavin Lee.
It's impressive stuff when you can make a Game of Thrones reference whilst talking about an EU summit. 11 minutes past 7. Now, it is the start of the summer holidays for most children in England and Wales this week. But many families won't be travelling abroad this year for obvious reasons.
No, it's just not an option for many. So no wonder that many UK campsites have seen a surge in bookings. Now, one company, pitchup.com, says it's dealing with double the number of inquiries compared to last year. Hardly surprising, is it?
Quite. Our reporter Adam McLean is at a glamping site in Wirral. Morning to you. You know, with these poles there, you shove it through the tent door. Morning, campers.
Hey, I tell you what, Chris, having just completed my first grown-up staycation.
Oh, yeah.
Which we were forced to take because of lockdown. I'm an absolute convert now.
Didn't rain.
It was fantastic. We went to the Kingdom of Five and had the time of our lives. So
well, let's hear the case for staycations, because we're joined now by Dan Yates from the Dan Yates.
Enjoy your open air hotel, Dan. Are you a convert now, having seen the luxury lodges? They're a happy medium, aren't they?
They are, actually. Yeah, you can see how the appeal of a yurt or a tree house or whatever. Yeah,
open
maybe I'll
air
be tempted.
hotel euphemism I like. Let's check in with Ben for that. We've seen the weather in Wirral. We've seen the weather in the Cotswolds. What about the rest of the country?
Jenny, the title.
Okay.
I'm crashing down in the middle of the night.
No, it wasn't quite.
The moral of this story, though, is if you're going to go camping, go on the south coast this week.
Exactly.
Thank
yeah.
you.
And we'll speak to you later.
Take a look. Time to take a look now at some of the week's stories from around the world with our reporters. Good morning. It's coming up to 20 to 8. This is Breakfast with Chris Mason and Nina Warhurst.
Good morning. Here is a summary of today's main stories from BBC News. Boris Johnson has said he doesn't believe another nationwide lockdown will be needed, even if there is a second spike of coronavirus this winter. Now, the Andrew Marr Show is here on BBC One at 9 o'clock this morning. The man himself is here to tell us what's in...
Absolutely. What a time it is in terms of international diplomacy. Let's hand to Holly now with the sport. Very much UK-based.
Cursed it now, you've cursed it. You're stealing Ben's breakfast, turning all... Think about cumulus, nimbus, clouds, whatever they're called.
I'll go. Chester, that's great news.
Now, we've heard how the professionals are getting on sporting-wise. Now let's see how the world of amateur sports is looking as the lockdown restrictions continue to ease.
Yeah, from COVID-secure football and netball to the tricky question of how to socially distance in a rugby scrum. Mike Bushell has been to visit some grassroots teams to see how they're preparing.
Holly was having a bit of a go at doing it a couple of minutes ago. I don't know how many marks out of 10 you'd give for Holly's attempt at amateur.
Lovely. Warming up towards August. Thank you, Ben.
Now, there is a common theme to plenty of the Sunday papers this morning. Nearly all of them feature a front-page photograph of Princess Beatrice's wedding to the Italian Count Edoardo Mapelli-Mozzi. which took place on Friday behind closed doors.
In a dress borrowed from a grandma. Beautiful. The newlyweds are pictured along with the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh, but neither Prince Andrew nor his former wife Sarah, Duchess of York, are included on the officially released photographs. We're joined now by the Royal...
Our chat.
We do.
It's 8 o'clock. You're watching BBC Breakfast. Coming up in the next hour.
Come on the BBC News channel, but this is where we leave you to say goodbye to those on BBC One. Bye for now.
Have a good day.